Welcome to the High Vibe Collective podcast. This afternoon, we have a very special guest, Kamali'i. She is going through a all-inclusive spiritual healing retreat here in Sedona through a very unique, powerful journey for her own path. And we wanted to be able to ask some questions back and forth about, how you got here, what kind of impact this is making. And then also we'll be curious to hear what questions you might have for us.
Mm,
So thank you for being here.
yeah, thank you for having me. I feel so honored to be the selected one here. With you too. Yeah, this has been such a great container to be in.
Yeah, we're so grateful to have you. And it feels really powerful even just saying your name, to be honest, Kamali'i, because the first time we spoke, I was like, "Hey, Juliana," and you were like, "Hey." And then it was almost as if, and I know this has been a lifelong journey for you to really embrace this aspect of self, because this is your given name. And so it's been cool to watch you like evolve from booking to arriving to like the days before you arrive. You were like, "Oh, actually, I go by Kamali'i."
Yeah.
So can you share just even a little bit of that story?
Yeah. So my given name is Juliana Kamali'i. And for so long, I've been called Juliana. My family calls me that, my friend. And I would say up until a few months ago, that I decided to make the shift into Kamali'i. But Kamali'i was always this second name I just never really thought about ever going by for the first. And a few months ago when I was on this Irish pilgrimage, I was feeling like this activation of different energies within me and more so shifting identities. And Juliana just didn't feel like it resonated anymore. It was kind of like the name Juliana means like purity in a sense, and Kamali'i means child of the chiefs in Hawaiian. And most of my life, I thought it was just princess, but there's a deeper story behind that name. And the calling of the energy shifting within myself and the resonance of this name, I thought, wow, okay, this might be something that I can try to be called and go by. So I was living in New York at the time. I started telling my friends that have called me Juliana for so long, like, Kamali'i is going to be my new name. Like, start calling me that. And they're like, "Okay, like, this is kind of an adjustment. This is tricky, like, we'll do it because we respect you," but, like, I could tell they were so uncomfortable. They couldn't pronounce it for the first for the most part, and I started doubting myself, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't go by Kamali'i, maybe that was a mistake." And that was also in this whole transition that was going on with inside me. So it was kind of like adjusting inside of me, coming in more into my power, but also witnessing that on the external as well of how I was, yeah, trying to navigate this change within myself and externally. So then I moved to Maui in October, back to Maui. I was born in Maui, and my first time being back on that land permanently now, since I was 5 years old. And when I got there, I got this very strong urge, Kamali'i. Kamali'i is who you're gonna go by. And it was a calling inside myself, and people around me just naturally started calling me that. Like, as I was Juliana, I would introduce myself as Juliana Kamali'i, and then they were like, "Oh, Kamali'i, like, we're gonna call you Kamali'i." So I'm like, "All right, naturally, now this name is" it's also Hawaii, people understand the language better too and respect it, I feel like, a bit more. So it's interesting because for a while I thought, "Okay, I should just stick with my first birth name," but now transitioning into Kamali'i, I feel I feel more in tune with who I am, and yeah, it's still navigation, it's still
Yeah, like a rediscovering.
it's a rediscovering. Yeah.
Yeah, like finally claiming the ownership of self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
It
So
does.
I want to touch a little bit on if you're okay talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
your age, you're young. And I think that this work, I know I've shared this with you in the musings of the days you've been here with us in Sedona, but it's powerful to see someone like yourself choosing to not necessarily be in a place of suffering to do this work, but to be in a place of empowerment and choice and rediscovery,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to use this work to really enhance yourself. So, can you share a little bit about maybe what led you to choose to do this kind of work or retreat yourself in this way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say many different factors have gone into the healing journey. For me, I really value self growth. And with that comes a whole bunch of things, right? It could be discovering the world on from an external sense to discovering my inner world. And the inner world and the inner layers can go so deep. And I I can't remember exactly the point where I was like, this traumatic thing happened and now I want to change and do a different way of living. It was more so just gradual over time and diving into different modalities. But I would say where my continuous journey started was prompted by the ending of a 5-year relationship. And it was my first real relationship. And I got very identified and intertwined with this person. And that when that ended, it was like, who am I? And what do I stand for? What are my tendencies? And even doing reflection in that relationship, how I was being, how I was showing up, or the lack of showing up. It was like, okay, there was this whole chance to start again before I enter into another relationship. I need to fix a relationship with myself. And that's where I started to do this deep dive. My mom and she was on the phone with me, and I remember her saying, maybe you should just, maybe do a retreat, like get away, go somewhere. I've never done a retreat before. And this was actually in upstate New York, and she found this beautiful, beautiful place called Menla. And Menla offered this holotropic breath work, and I've never done that before. I never really did breath work. I've done yoga and breathing and that, but this was like a deep dive. This is a 3-hour, triggering the DMT in the lungs and, going into a different realm, it feels like. And I went in with an open mind, no idea what to expect. And I got there and it was so transforming in my life because I was all of a sudden feeling emotions that I have suppressed since childhood. I was in a container that felt safe to be expressing parts of myself that I never maybe felt safe expressing in other setting or even know how to express. And here I am feeling this unconditional love and support from these strangers. And from there, it was like, okay, what else? And there's so many different modalities and different ways of healing. And my journey's just, I think, unfolded naturally. Things have been put into my path to do that deeper dive naturally.
Yeah. It sounds like you were just really, being led, but also really following your inner guidance.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then making, with all of that in your experiences, making a decision like this for yourself to come and
Mhm.
really have this one-on-one experience, feels like that maybe would have made that an easier decision for yourself, right?
Right, and that's what's so interesting is with this experience I haven't had before, which is this really sacred time and a really safe container, and I mentioned this to you earlier of coming here feels like coming home and having a setting that is beyond the nurturing of what I've experienced in the past. like where I had felt safe, but now it really you guys make it feel like it's a home where I can come in and I can wear my robe around the house and I can be in the bath and then you're making dinner and then we come together and we share this meal and we talk about, all the things and it's like this safe, secure family setting that I've been lacking in my own life recently. So it's so healing for me on so many levels and it's so genuine and I just wanna say I haven't experienced this, and I've been to a few retreats over the past few years,
You're well
so
seasoned.
yeah, and I would say this is very special. Yeah, this experience.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been, you know, such a heart-centered thing for Erin and I both. So it feels really beautiful to receive those words. And, you know, many of the different practitioners that you work with, they all feel that same, energy towards you.
Mm,
And yeah, it's beautiful to see, the unfolding of your comfort, right? Because we see many guests come in and out, and a lot of guests will share the same thing, right? This feels like home, and that's honestly the goal for us,
mm,
right? That this can feel like a place that you are able to unwind and let go of whatever experiences you had before that would have created the stories that told you you couldn't,
mhm,
so that it can just be fresh and new for you. And that this work that you're doing, right? Like the inner child healing, the shamanic journeys, the transformational body work, the breath work, all of those things can come together and help, piece things back together or, realign them, recalibrate them.
mhm.
Yes, it's really beautiful to, to hear you have so much comfort in that.
Yeah, I'm actually even curious with you guys, like, what inspired you to become retreat facilitators, and, like, how did you guys begin this journey?
Such a good question. So we started the High Vibe Collective in 2022,
One.
2021.
Mm,
Time flies. But I had actually hosted my first retreat here in Sedona in 2016.
mm,
So I was at that point in my life full time, just doing life coaching and business coaching.
mm,
And so I had a few clients and a few girls who had been following me who joined me here in Sedona. And we led a 3-day retreat. And it was incredible, an incredible experience. And then, for myself, the calling to do this work that we're doing here now really evolved as my time here in Sedona also evolved
mm,
because I see so many people like yourself coming here for, real authentic connection, real authentic. Maybe it's not always even healing,
mhm,
maybe it is just work, right? We're like,
mm,
I don't have a wound I'm trying to heal from, like a noted trauma, although that's also there sometimes. So there's not like good or bad,
mhm,
but just that, we want to be able to do the work in a safe way
mhm,
with people of high integrity that are going to show up consistently. And so we really felt called to be doing this work and curating these experiences to help people like yourself to be able to find exactly what you need,
mhm,
not just a mediocre version or, one where you felt like another number through the door or something like that, right?
mhm.
Because I feel like most of our guests that come to us feel like their family finding their way home. And I say that all the time. So then for you to really feel that, I'm just like, oh,
Mm,
yeah,
mhm. So deeply, yeah.
yeah. But I'm curious to hear also from you, Erin.
Well, we were already involved in the healing world in our own ways. I've been practicing craniosacral therapy for about 7 years and picked up different forms of modalities and ways of helping people. And so it just became clear that we could provide an experience for people where the healing journey could be this synchronistic unfolding
Mhm,
that people don't have to try to logically plan ahead of time.
right.
And so when people come to us, they're experiencing having their hand held through a journey that they don't even know what it should look like, but they know that they want to maybe feel lighter or step into a new level of alignment, or they want to really move beyond things that have caused needless suffering. There's always a reason someone has to make some type of shift. And so we're able to be that kind of helper for people that are ready to go to the next level in a spiritual way. But usually when you're ready to go to the next level, that's when the teacher appears. We don't necessarily already know the path. So we're just a path that people can go down without having to know which way to go. And like Stephanie mentioned, Sedona has a lot of different ways people can experience that. And we thought there weren't enough ways that were as aligned as possible.
That we would choose.
Right. Right. So we made it.
Yes.
And that's the inspiration behind it. And there's also this aspect of wanting to nurture the healing facilitators who do really deep, beautiful work, but aren't necessarily celebrated in the industries accessible to make a living. You know, there's the world of being a healer isn't necessarily automatically, immediately something that you can do full time. And so to be able to provide a container for people who are really making big impact, but don't have their own business set up, then we're able to really interact in this cool way where everyone's winning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so special that you're able to create that safe space and that opportunity to have the healers come in and really change the world because it ripples out. What the work I've been doing here, I feel changed in many ways. I feel activated and I can bring that healing to others and then that ripples out and it's just such a beautiful experience. And then even, by word of mouth, it's like then I can communicate where I've been and they can come here and also experience with these healers. And yeah, that's very special.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
What is one thing that you didn't expect to experience in your time here so far in terms of the healing journey aspect that you have experienced that you didn't know was something you could experience?
Good question. Let me think about this for a sec or feel into it.
And
Okay. I didn't expect to feel. I've always heard so much about Sedona, like so special, so much magic in Sedona. And being here where we're like kind of off the grid. I mean, we're really secluded out here. Like it's very potent, the energy, and being in the safe container and with that energy, it's so amplified and I feel like I'm dropping in deeper in this space than I ever have. And it's magical. It's so magical. Like I was telling you guys yesterday, like I felt like I had an alien resurrection. Like light just coming into my body and just like experiencing the most intense things I can't even put into words. It's like it's otherworldly. And I don't think that I've ever experienced something like this before. In most of the sessions, it's so potent and clear. Like the clarity is so heightened. And I feel so like a clear channel. I feel like my intuitive abilities have developed further in the last couple days. I don't even know, around day 2 or day 3. Like I lost track of time in or day 3. And I just feel so grateful because I came in with, once again, just an open heart, open mind. I was trusting my intuition that this was going to be great. And the moment we all like from the moment I talked to you on the phone, it felt so great and comforting. But then walking into the space and really feeling your energies and then meeting the facilitators and being in the space, it's so healing and so activating and clear in the best, most unimaginable way. Yeah, special, very special.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. What about for you guys? How do you feel that the natural energy of Sedona amplifies the work being done here?
Beautiful question. I think that the natural energy of Sedona amplifies present,
Mm,
and I think it amplifies our own ability to connect with our hearts
mm,
and be in a place of reflection, and also that place of clarity in terms of being able to look at your life and reflect on things and also make change.
mm,
So there's this common denominator of what people have found with Sedona's energy, where it's volatile and it's change inducing.
mm-hmm,
It'll shake you up and spit you out, right? And being able to do healing work that is deep and that where you're shaking things out of you that you
mm-hmm,
no longer need, or where you're shaking it up so that you can get out of a pattern and step into a new embodiment, like break that old shell that maybe is not even traumatic, but just an old shell, you know?
mm-hmm,
And I think Sedona naturally complements that. People have done readings with different ways of measuring the Earth's energy and found that the energy is volatile here.
mm,
And not necessarily in a bad way, but the native populations in this area before we made this a city did not necessarily live full time in the Red Rocks of Sedona like people do now. They would travel in for journeys, ceremonies, and intentional activities, and they wouldn't make this the only place of residence. And so there's this sacred relationship to these rocks that goes back in time that we don't even understand anymore.
mm,
So there's a ton of different explanations about Sedona, vortexes, and all these things. And I don't have the exact answer from a logical perspective,
right.
but people report a very similar experience of feeling like there's this bubble of energy in Sedona, kind of like you're not even in real life in a way.
Mm-hmm,
Like you're just in this bubble of experience. And I think as well how captivating the rocks are and how unique they are
mm,
for a place to have buildings and streets and restaurants and homes, and to be able to be in that environment that looks like a national park that you can't touch.
mm-hmm.
You can just operate in it like a normal person, and that sense of magic, kind of like being at Disneyland without being at
Oh,
Disneyland.
yeah, I feel that.
It's like this natural spiritual Disneyland. And
Spiritual Disneyland. Yeah.
yes, and being able to be in an environment surrounded by the rocks is amazing, but to be able to walk on the rocks and get lost in the rocks is this experience that, quite frankly, people aren't really used to being that connected to nature anymore.
Mm-hmm,
But when you add in an environment that is Mars-like and kind of foreign
mm-hmm,
and a different color and a different shape, then it's just can't quite place your finger on it.
mm-hmm,
And I think that all of those aspects of things make it a powerful place to experience any type of spiritual journey
mm,
beyond just appreciating nature, which is
mhm.
already a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
I have something to share on that too. In addition, because that was a really great explanation. But one thing that I always feel, and I felt this from the first time I ever came here to Sedona, which I was not in a good state when I came here for the first time ever. I was like really discombobulated. I, it was years and years ago. I think it was 2015. And I remember being upset and I couldn't even enjoy it. I couldn't even enjoy it here because I was so upset at my discombobulation in myself. So what I see, which is why I share that, is that whatever your intention is amplified readily by the energy here in Sedona. And I call her Mama Sedona.
Mm,
I believe that Mama Sedona wants to give us what we want, but we have to know what we want and we have to be clear.
mm-hmm,
And when we're clear with our intention, Mama Sedona will give it to you full on. And so I think it's important for those that are coming here on their journey to hold that intention, to have it be rooted within them, and then continue to hold that as they move through, because the gifts that she gives, the gift that this land gives is ever unfolding, and it can be intense. And I mean, because of Hawaii, which is similar but different.
Different.
Different. And you were sharing on this last night. Maybe you could share just a little bit.
Yeah.
Different energy.
Yeah, the energy. It's interesting because I didn't realize how much Sedona and Maui or Hawaii in general goes hand in hand until I got here and realizing that people have either lived in Hawaii or were from there and how many people go back and forth. It's such a mm, like the portal, like they go back and forth.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was talking to this woman that owns an art gallery within the first day I was here. And she had described to me that the vortex here goes in and comes out in Hawaii. And if we think about that energy of going inward, that's feminine, right? Kind of hibernation, going within. And the energy coming out in Hawaii, more masculine, more expression. And what's interesting is I do feel that duality coming from that container to this one is in Sedona. And maybe it is just because it is winter, but it's also winter in Hawaii. And here I really do want to just dive deeper within and I want to just nurture myself more and mother myself and be with my heart space. And in Hawaii, I want to share. I want to express and it it's different. There's also, I would say there's more healing. There's like this healing energy in Hawaii. And in Sedona, it's not that it's not healing. It's it's activating. It really makes you look within deeper and really be honest with yourself.
That's saying it well.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah. You've got to be honest with yourself here. Otherwise, the honesty will smack you in the face.
Yeah. Like you said, coming in with that clear intention. Because if you're not that clear, Sedona will make it clear. Yeah, I feel that. I wasn't fully 100% clear. I had an idea, and then as I was here, it just started getting stronger and stronger, and that yeah, the energy here it's potent
Mm,
and it's special.
mm.
Yeah, if you like Hawaii, you're gonna love Sedona.
I love that.
I'm curious if you have any fun upcoming projects that you're excited about starting with the retreat, because I know you guys are all about evolving and constantly growing this, and it's so beautiful to hear the excitement you have in that. So, can you share what you have coming up?
That's an awesome question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 3 group retreats in 2025. We have our Life Transformation Retreat, March 28th through 30th. And that's going to be an amazing experience with obviously a group healing setting that's designed to help people uncover who they are and their connection with themselves and really let go of that old shell that they don't need anymore.
Mm.
So that's why it's the Life Transformation Retreat. So it's going to be really fun, but also a really safe and easy container to just show up and be able to move through the processes and experience life in a new way, relate to yourself in a different way, relate to problems in a different way, relate to your suffering in a different way, relate to other people in a different way, the world, relate to feeling courage versus victimizing yourself internally. Like there's so many things where the relationship will change into yourself and the world in that retreat, which is super fun.
And
Uh,
the few special guests.
there's a few special guests. We have Matt Con and Joy Con joining us for that retreat. They're going to be leading a special afternoon. So that's going to be a really awesome experience.
Mm.
And then we have the women's retreat at the end of April 25th through 27th. And this is a time for women to come together and do what women do best,
Mm. Um,
which I don't know about.
he's passing stuff to me now.
To the woman.
So myself and Sabina are going to be leading that in March, and it's just going to be a really powerful way that we can drop deeper into our femininity in the feminine body, but also have balance in the feminine and the masculine, right? How do we walk this world and, go through these trials and tribulations that most of us have been through or are working to heal from? We don't have to feel that the masculine is the only choice to just tough it out and just, make it through life, that we can really enjoy the lusciousness of our femininity and be able to move through the world in that and be knowing that we're safe to have those connections and to have those continue to evolve in our life. So there's going to be a lot of really fun things that we're moving through in that. And then coming up, we have the healer training retreat, which I'll have Erin share a little more on.
Oh, yeah. So in September, we have the healer training retreat. So this is designed for people who want to serve others, and not only serve others in a way where they're financially compensated, but step into their craft from who they really are and how they can really help people, because everyone can actually help others heal. It's just, you can typically help people get to the depth that you've gone yourself. And there's a lot of people that need to go to the depth that you've already gone. And as you go deeper and deeper and deeper over time in your own ways, you can then help others do the same.
Cool.
And it's simple and it's normal, but we complicate things and kind of have this reference point of, college for 4 to 6 years, then maybe you can help someone, and it's interesting because that mindset can stop people from doing the healing work and being willing to do it and receive compensation, and also be willing to do it from a place of focusing on the other person and not making it about them, or absorbing other people's problems. For example, a lot of people feel like they might have a healing gift, but don't want to take on other people's baggage. And you don't have to. It's not like that. And so the healer training retreat is about stepping into your own gifts, sharing it with others, being able to apply that practically in the world so that it's not just a random hobby that you make time for once in a while. And also to give people just an immediate kind of spring and quantum leap into a place of serving other people that is safe and empowering for everyone. Not ego driven, not trying to get someone to be a certain way, and also not being a healer who doesn't believe in their gifts, right? Because so many people feel they might have that healer gift inside of them, but it's like, I don't know, And so sometimes we need not only a little bit of validation, but a little bit of experience in giving and receiving healing in different ways. So as of right now, it's not a specific modality. Like, you're not going to go get breathwork certified at this retreat, or you're not going to go become a licensed massage therapist at this retreat. But what you will do is learn how to help other people in session immediately and be able to apply that to your life so that people know they can receive your healing, and so that you can give it and it be something that really nurtures all aspects of the human experience. So that retreat is specifically for people who want to step into their gifts. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go relax spa day. It's, hey, we're going to give and receive healing processes that ultimately can help people, get out of the funk, change their life, up level, and find deep relaxation and safety. It's everything you're experiencing in this retreat now, being able to kind of step into that as more of a facilitator, so that the trajectory of your service and being a healer is like kickstarted and activated.
Sign me up.
Well, we're signing you up.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really exciting one. All of the group retreats are incredible, but the healer training feels really exciting for Erin and I both. And even just, for myself in my background with business coaching, I see it so much that there are so many gifted people out there that are just not receiving what they deserve.
Right.
We
Yeah.
like tell ourselves all these stories, and that's part of the healing work, right?
Yeah.
Is to like let that go so that we can really finally show up for what we're meant to. Because we're not meant to be hiding in the shadows. We're meant to show up powerfully during this time where most people are really craving human connection. You know, we're in a time where you can get non-human connection readily right now, and we're going to need to heal from a lot of that. So, showing up in the ways that we can, and emphasizing our unique strength.
Mm.
And I like how you said it's not like we're focusing on one specific modality for that, because there's many ways that we get to show up in many aspects of life. And
Mhm.
so it's focusing on where your innate gifts are and
Right.
where your innate calling is, right?
Mhm.
And helping to draw that out of you further so that it's just magnetized, and, we're collapsing the timelines of the future and the present so that it can just be here now
Wow.
for us all. So
Mm.
there's many things we're excited about moving forward, but those are really exciting. And then, do you want to talk about, yes.
Yeah. So we're also excited about a couple other components of how we're able to help.
Question.
Yeah, it is. So we'll finish.
We need all this information.
We need all of
Yeah.
it. I love that. So, we're deepening our practice in our one-on-one containers with people outside of the Sedona container. And so, we work with people for anywhere from as short as 6 weeks to 6 months in private one-on-one containers where people get to have their hand held through their level up and through their spiritual alignment. And that's really a big passion for us because we can help people move the needle in their life and can do a complete 180 from feeling like they're falling behind to feeling like they're way ahead of
Mm.
where they thought they would be, not only in the real world, but in their own attunement to themselves and attunement to spirit and what it is that they're seeking. So a lot of times we will accidentally have a mentor in our life without choosing it. And so if we don't choose a mentor in our life, then that song that came on the radio that just hits right is the mentor, but the lyrics aren't right.
Mm.
And we look at the movie and we look up to this person, but they're not speaking to us. They're just talking in a movie and we take it seriously, and that's our mentor now, right? Or for some people, a politician might be a mentor. But what's very different about choosing and receiving or seeking a mentor in real time is that you can go where you want to go faster with ease. And you have that association and relationship to not only be held accountable, but to be pushed forward beyond what you think is possible in your own mind. And the only reason that we have the type of awareness or level of service that we are currently at, which will continue to evolve and grow like it would for anyone, is because of people who have helped lift us up. And so, if you're reaching out for an arm and there's someone there who can lift you up, you take it and you get lifted up. And, some people don't reach up, and then the people reaching down can't help them. So that's where a relationship like that has been powerful to us to receive, but also to give. And so we're going to be expanding how many people we work with in that setting during 2025, which is super exciting. And we also, by the time you're listening to this video, have our online community where people are going to be able to connect who have graduated from retreats, but also people who are being
Hey, look at me.
uh, influenced by the healing and wellness world that want to be
Right.
tuned into that and want to ride that wave and be in an environment where they can interact with other people who care about this. Because there are so many people, especially guests who come here in person, that don't have this environment at home. And I know you have aspects of it, but it's like for us, this is normal.
Mhm.
And for a lot of people in Sedona, in the spiritual world, it's normal.
Mhm.
And there are pockets like that all around the world. But for the masses, for the big percentage of the population, there's not much hope. There's not much connection, you know? And so for people who are seeking it in a similar way that we are, we've created that container to be able to all ride that wave together and deepen that practice and be in kind of like a community setting where you're not alone, you're recognized, there's other people on your path, and there'll be so many opportunities within that to meet other people in person and online who care about the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say something that's unique about your guys' retreat is that aspect of connection, but like genuine connection that isn't like, I feel like we developed a relationship that's gonna last and that I could call on you and we can have a conversation at any point. And I genuinely feel that rather than there's a revolving door of people that come in and out because I think that's really easy to, just let that revolving door go. But for you guys, it's so evident that you have your heart and your soul and your soul's purpose and calling into this. And you're uplifting humanity. And yeah, it's so, so sacred to be in this space because it's genuine. It's really genuine. From the moment I said my hello, because you said our hello. So
that's
thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go
Can I ask you one last question?
for it.
Okay. If you were speaking to the version of you were 3 years ago, who had a different context to life or a different awareness or attunement, would you have any words or feelings that you would want to convey to either you in that state or someone who you might see in that state? How can you impact that person from 3 years ago?
Mm. Such a great question. What I believe is that everything is divine timing. Everything is perfect. 21-year-old version of me was receptive to certain things, but she wasn't ready. She had to go through certain levels. So I would tell her, trust the process, trust that what you're going and growing through right now is preparing you for that next level in life. And it's going to bleed into the next. And you're going to look back and be like, oh, that's why that happened. But make sure that you're connecting to a deeper part of you and your truth and not what you're hearing from around you of what you should be doing. Especially when you're that young, it's so easy to take other people's projections and opinions and wants and desires for you to be who they want you to be in this world, and to sit with yourself in solitude and get comfortable with solitude, get comfortable without being with being without friends, without family, quiet the noise, tune in and follow that next step. And even if that next step is where you are right now, ask yourself, is this really what I feel good in? Does this feel like a full body, 100% yes? Or do I feel a little like, I want to turn around and go home. I don't want to be driving to work. I don't want to be doing school. School's great, but there's the school of life too. And there's so much to explore. And as long as you follow your inner calling, you won't have any regret. Everybody told me I should go back to school. I should go to school. I should go to school. And I'm gonna go to school, and I still do learn. But I'm in the school of life, and we're never. There's no rush to get to the destination. There's only the journey unfolding, and as long as you're in tune with what's true for you, you will thrive.